Hello, kindergarten students. This is Mr. Kramer coming to you from my office. This lesson is the first one that is just for the kindergarten students. So I'm doing one lesson that's for the first graders. This one's just for you guys. We're going to start talking about something today called the big problem, small problem, or some people call it big deal, little deal. It doesn't matter to me what you call it as long as you remember it's the big or little, big or small. So the reason we're going to talk about this is because during any day, we all have a lot of problems that we have to deal with. And some of those problems might be big and some of them might be small. And we're going to talk in the coming weeks. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about different ways to solve some of the problems that you have. But before we get into the different ways to solve it, I really just want to make sure that we all just have a really good understanding of the difference between big problem and small problem. So when I say big problem, I do not mean how angry you are. Sometimes when I do this lesson, boys and girls, and maybe some adults too, we get confused in feeling like if we're really upset, if I was really mad, I might feel like something is a big problem. But that's not what I mean by big problem or big deal. When I say something is a big problem, what that means is I want you to go get an adult for help. It's not a problem that we want you to solve on your own. So big problem equals getting an adult for help. A small problem just means we want you to solve it on your own. We don't want you going to get an adult for help, at least not right away. And we'll talk about when it's still okay to go get help from an adult later. So big problem, go get help from an adult. Small problem, little deal, you're going to try to solve it on your own. Again, it's not how upset you are. Sometimes people get really upset about things that are a small problem because you still should try to solve them on your own. For example, let's say that I was coloring with a friend and they got upset with me and they scribbled all over my paper. Now, that would probably make me really upset, especially because I'm not very good at drawing, and if I had a drawing I liked and someone scribbled on it, I would be really upset. But it's a small problem, and I'm going to tell you why in a second, which means even though I'm really upset, I'm going to solve it on my own without help from an adult. So there are three things in school that make something a big problem. So here are the three things. 1, if someone is hurt. If you get hurt or someone else around you, you see somebody get hurt, go get an adult for help. It's a big problem. We want an adult to help you with it. So if you're outside playing on the playground or you're at home playing and you see someone get hurt or you fall and you get hurt, even if, let's say I'm playing outside and I fall off the swing and I hurt my knee and I get up and I think I'm okay, I still want you to get help from an adult. I want an adult to know that you fell down and got hurt, and we'll let them check and see how your knee is, maybe go to the nurse and have her check how your knee is. If you get hurt or you see someone, if you're outside playing and you see someone fall down and you think they're hurt, you go get an adult right away and say, excuse me, there's someone over there that I think is hurt and needs help. So if someone's hurt, big problem, go get an adult for help. A second thing is if something is broken. If something breaks, if you're playing a game at playtime and you accidentally break it, maybe you have a board game and it breaks, or there's a toy that you're playing with and it breaks, that's a big problem. It doesn't mean you're in trouble. It just means we need an adult to know about that because they need to know it's broken, so either they can try to fix it or they know they need to get a new one. So if a toy breaks, if a game breaks, if a window breaks or glass breaks, or even like if your iPad breaks, we want you to go tell an adult. That is a big problem. So if someone's hurt, big problem, go tell an adult. If something's broken, big problem, go tell an adult, get help. The third one is a little different than the first two. The third one is if something is scary. And the reason this is different is because something that might be scary to me might not be scary to you. Like sometimes I'm still a little scared of the dark. You might not be scared of the dark. So if we suddenly lost power in the building, I might be scared, which makes it a big problem for me, and I'm going to talk to an adult. You might not be scared, so you don't need to go talk to an adult. But if something scary happens, that is another time where it's a big problem, and we want you to go get help from an adult. I'll give you another example. If you were outside playing and a stranger came over, an adult that you don't know, and they started talking to you, that's scary. We want you to go get help from an adult that you do know and that you do trust. So if something scary happens, and it can be anything that scares you, go get an adult for help. And you tell them, I'm feeling scared because, and you tell them why. So that's the rules for school. Someone hurt, something's broken, something scary is happening. Those are the three things that make something a big problem, which remember, means we're going to go get help from an adult at school. Almost everything else that happens, we're saying is a small problem, which just means we don't want you to go get an adult for help. We want you to solve it on your own, or at least try to solve it on your own before we go get help from an adult. Now, this year is a little different. Normally I would do this lesson in your room and we would just talk about what this means for school. But I'm guessing that a lot of you are watching this at home, and there may be different rules at home for what makes something a big problem or a small problem. So part of what I want you guys to do today is sit down with your grown-ups and talk about what are the three things that make something a big problem at school where you should go get help from an adult. And then talk about what are the things at home that are a big problem where your grown-ups want you to go get them for help. And it might be different. So it's real important to sit down with your grown-ups and talk about what makes something a big problem at home and what makes something a big problem at school. And then, remember, almost everything else is probably going to be a small problem. So again, you can talk about that at home with your grown-up. What is a small problem at home where the grown-up doesn't want you to go get them for help? They want you to try to solve it on your own. Now remember, grown-ups and boys and girls at home, we are going to spend a lot of time in the coming weeks talking about different ways to solve small problems. So if you have a small problem right now and you're thinking, but Mr. Kramer, I'm not sure what to do, that's okay. We're going to go over a lot of different options, a lot of different things I'm going to try to teach you of how you can solve a small problem at home. But right now I just want to make sure you know the difference. That a big problem, we're going to get help from an adult. In school, if something is broken, someone's hurt, something scary is happening. If it's not one of those three things, even if you feel angry and upset, we want you to try to solve it on your own first. Take that deep breath if you get mad. And then see if you can solve that problem on your own. I know that can be kind of confusing. I kind of wish there was a different way for me to explain this. Like maybe, like if we had some sort of game show. That would be kind of fun, wouldn't it? Big problem, small problem, game show.
Hello everyone and welcome to our favorite game show, Big Problem, Small Problem, where we talk about the day's problems and whether or not those are big problems or we're going to get help from an adult, or a small problem that you're going to solve on your own. Our contestants today are Mrs. Kramer and Mrs. Elby. Alright, I'm going to ask you guys a question and I want you to tell me if it's a big problem or a small problem. You're going to buzz in when you think you have the answer. Are you ready?
Ready.
Alright, these first round questions are worth 50 points. A student near you is talking while you are trying to get your work done and it's really bothering you. Big problem, small problem. Mrs. Elby.
Definitely big problem.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Mrs. Kramer, would you like to steal?
Ooh, a small problem?
It is a small problem because nobody's hurt, nothing's broken, nothing scary is happening. It's frustrating, but you can solve that problem all on your own, Mrs. Elby. You don't need to get help from the teacher.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
Okay, number 2. You're playing on the playground and you fall off the swing and really hurt your arm. Big problem. Oh, Mrs. Elby.
That's a big problem.
That is a big problem. Somebody's hurt, so we need to get an adult for help. Big problem. Very good. Question 3. You notice someone in class is not doing the work that the teacher asked them to do. Oh, Mrs. Kramer.
Big problem?
Oh, actually, Mrs. Elby, do you want to steal?
Small problem.
That is a small problem because Mrs. Kramer, nobody's hurt. Nothing's broken. Nothing scary is happening. So,
Okay.
you can solve that problem all on your own. You do not need to get help from an adult in that situation. Alright, last question of the first round. We're 50 points. You're lined up to go to PE class when someone else comes over and cuts in front of you in line. Oh, Mrs. Elby.
Small problem.
That is a small problem. Very good. No one's hurt. Nothing's broken. Nothing scary is happening. That was a small problem. So that has Mrs. Elby in the lead. 150 to 50 points for Mrs. Kramer. Now in the second round, the points do increase. But before we go to the second round, let's meet our contestants. Mrs. Elby, It says here that you have a pet cat, Nakia. Would you like to tell us about your pet cat?
Oh, sure. Yes. So I have a pet cat named Nakia, and she's really cool. She has spots,
Ooh.
and she's golden, and she's kind of different than a regular cat because she's really, really long,
Oh.
and she loves bread.
Oh, bread.
I know.
That's interesting.
Very interesting.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yep.
I also have here in my notes that you used to be a member of the Avengers, but left to become a
Oh.
kindergarten teacher.
Yes.
Tell us about that decision.
Yes. Well, I still feel like I'm a superhero some days, so it's really not that different. Still saving the world, one child at a time.
Excellent. Well, we're glad to have you here at Ginther School. Okay, Mrs. Kramer. I have here in my notes that it says your family is from Scotland. Did you ever meet the Loch Ness Monster?
No, I haven't. I've tried really hard to go see the Loch Ness Monster, but I've never had the fortune to see it, so.
Well, don't give up. Perseverance is important.
Okay.
I also see here that you got married over the summer. You want to tell us about getting married? Anyone that we know?
I did get married over the summer. It was lots of fun.
Yes?
I married Mr. Kramer.
Mr. Kramer.
Have you heard of him?
He sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
Yeah?
Do I know him?
Yeah, you know him too.
I do?
Yes.
All right. Well, I'll keep an eye out for Mr. Kramer. But for now, we gotta get back to our game show. So, you ready for the second round?
Okay.
The questions are double the points. It's playtime, and you see somebody walking up the slide instead of going down the slide. Big problem or small problem? Mrs. Kramer.
Small problem?
That is a small problem. Now, even though that student is not following directions, no one's hurt, nothing broken, nothing scary is happening, so you do not need to go tell the teacher about that. You could try to solve that all on your own. Very good. I thought we were going to trick you on that one. All right, how about this? You're doing your work in class, or maybe at home, and you make a mistake and you're feeling very frustrated about that. Is that a big problem or a small problem? Mrs. Albee.
Big problem.
Oh, Mrs. Albee, is anybody hurt?
No.
Is anything broken?
No, I guess not.
Is anything scary going on?
No?
No, so I'm afraid that is a small problem.
Okay.
Small problem. It's frustrating,
Yes.
but just because it's frustrating doesn't make it a big problem.
I guess that makes sense.
So you're going to have to figure out how to deal with that all on your own.
Okay.
All right. It's time to start your work. But you don't remember the teacher's directions. Is that a big problem where you're going to stay there and wait for the teacher to come over, or a small problem you can try to solve all on your own? Mrs. Kramer,
A small problem.
that is a small problem. You don't have to get the teacher for help on that one. You can try to solve it on your own. For bonus points, what could you do to solve that small problem?
I could look to see what the other boys and girls are doing.
Excellent, that is one idea. You can check with the other boys and girls, see what they're doing, and maybe that will remind you what the directions were. Very good. So, at the end of our second round, that puts Mrs. Kramer up 250 points to 150 points. I'm sorry, Mrs. Albee, you are not going to the final round, but you do get to the lovely big problem, small problem board game to take home and play
Woohoo!
at home.
I love
So-
board games. So that's okay with me.
Good, good,
Good job,
good.
Mrs. Kramer.
Oh, thank you, Mrs.
You're
Albee.
welcome.
All right,
Okay.
Mrs. Kramer, you are in the final round. This is for the grand prize.
Okay.
All right, you are at home.
Mhm.
It's time for you to start your schoolwork on your iPad, but you really, 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 really don't want to do it. Is that a big problem or a small problem?
I have to go with small problem.
That is a small problem. Very good. Even though you don't want to do your work, it's time to do your work. So for a bonus prize here, could you give us a small reaction? I know we haven't talked about small reactions yet, but what would a nice small reaction be? It's time to do your work. You don't want to do it, but you've got to do it anyway. Oh, there you go. That's called a shrug, boys and girls. A shrug is a good small reaction. She's going to do your work anyway. You ready? Here, you won.
What did I win?
You won a year's supply of Temptations cat treats. Fiona, show them the cat treats.
That's right, Mrs. Kramer. You have won a year's supply of tasty Temptations cat treats, the preferred cat treat of everyone's favorite cat, Fiona. Enjoy the crispy, crunchy taste of Temptations all throughout the year with your year's supply of Temptations cat treats. Enjoy.
I guess I could use it. Thank you, Mr. Kramer.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yay.
We'll make sure that if you want to hand deliver those to your house, or paw deliver those to your house.
Okay, I'll be looking forward for them.
All right, that's all the time we have here today on Big Problem, Small Problem. Hold a round of applause for our guests, our contestants, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, on second thought, I'm not sure if a big problem, small problem game show would be such a great idea. But hopefully you guys get the idea. So when you're done watching this, stop, sit down with your grown-up, talk about the 3 things that make something a big problem at school, when you get help from an adult, and talk about what the rules are for home. What makes something a big problem where the grown-ups want you to get them for help, and what makes things a small problem where they don't want you going to get them, they want you solving it on your own. All right, boys and girls, I will see you later.